All right, welcome back to a brand new video. You hear there's a person walking on the street, I guess, with a bag full of bottles. Then you hear the sirens going off. That's part of their cursive threats. In the cursive persuasion programming, this is what they do. This is what how they engage in psychological manipulation and tactics. Also, uh, they have been messing with my online accounts. Right. For example, when I came, turned on the computer, and went to log in to my YouTube, right, it brought up a different account, which I don't, I have not logged into, right? So I had to log back into, it wouldn't allow me to log back into my account. So I had to basically open up a new browser, go to YouTube, right, into the login section, and then copy and paste that address into the other web browser that I normally use, and were able to log into my YouTube account. So they are, like I said, so what they've been doing, using and manipulating online accounts and using and manipulating online social media platform in order to engage in targeting. Why? Today, because again, trying to engage in threats, psychological threats, as well as using uh, uh, their agents, their snitches, to engage in psychological operation against me because I told Pam, no, I'm not watching the kids while she go to North Carolina to get, um, for this concert, right? So this is what they do. And I also forget too, when I'm gonna pick up my daughter, there was also a vehicle with a North Carolina plates in there, and they also, and it didn't dawn on me at the time, but I showed you guys the Georgia plates though, because my friend from Georgia had called me this morning, so that's why they'll do stuff like that. It's to show me and let me know that I'm being surveilled illegally, and they're also giving that information to the civilian perps, to their civilian perps, to engage in illegal activities. Okay, in crimes against me as a TI and others, other TIs as well. Okay, so I just wanted to make uh, that be known what is going on. All right, talk to you guys in the next video. Oh, before I forget, let me show you guys. So uh, she would rather go to a concert, a New Edition concert in North Carolina, but don't want to clean up this mess. All right, don't want to clean up this mess. This is I mean, look on the couch, all this stuff. All right, so but that's the mindset, and like I tell her, I'm not, you know, you're whatever coercive power you think that you have over me. No, you don't. All right, if you keep feeding into their bullshit, right, then it shows you that what type of personality that you have, what type of personality trait that they've created within you. All right. Also, um, when I got here, I was making fish cake. I had planned to do it last night, but I was on the phone with the TI from California, who sometimes I get engaged in a conversation with her. But anyway, I didn't get off the phone until after 12, which so I couldn't even make the fish cake then. But I had already prepped the ingredients, right? And in the fish cake. So this morning, I was making some. I didn't have. I woke up around 10 o'clock, so I could only make a few. So I said, okay, let me make some for the kids. That way I can bring them over here. And then I asked my sister to make the rest. Okay. So before I left, I had a fish cake, and I'm on my way over here. I had a slight headache. All right, so I'm like, okay, well, I didn't eat anything, so maybe that's why. Even though I have, I ate that one fish cake, and I had a slight headache afterwards, right? The same type of headache I had when I was talking about when I was drinking my moringa tea, right? And it happened um, twice, and so I end up taking the bag of moringa tea. I still have it, and I got to figure out some way of trying to get it tested to see if there's any type of poison in it, particularly when it comes to like rat feces and stuff like that. Because these Christians, call us Christians, they're wicked enough to do some shit like that, and they have proven it before. And then you have predators problem using the sirens. Yeah, and they have done this before. They've done it to other people before, so this is nothing new, right? And and we as people who understand and who know these things and who are conscious about these things, about the we know the truth, they'll try to silence us. Particularly when it comes to them protecting their Jesus and their God, they will poison family members. They will engage in conspiring to murder people and poison people and set people up in order to, because and again, when I talk about their God being the devil, right? That's why they do what they do, because their God is the devil. Their God is the devil. They claim is the devil that they talk about, that they claim is about this and that, and deceivers and manipulators. That's who they're following, right? See, when they believe one thing, but their action shows you exactly who it is that they believe in and who they truly follow. Always remember that. Never go by what they say. Go by what they do. All right. So, um, so then I came in the house here, and I had a fish cake before I went to pick Melissa, and the headache came back again. So when I came back in, I said, okay, let me see. So I just had a fish cake again, and I finished, and then so I have like a weird aftertaste in my mouth, right? Now I know when I usually make fish cake, this has never happened before. So now that it's happening now, it shows me that whatever they did to And before I left, my sister was like, "Oh, just leave the I had asked her to finish the rest for me." And she's like, "Yeah, just leave it in the stove. I was gonna put it back in the fridge." But she's like, "No, just leave it on the stove when I come back." I said, "Well, how long are you gonna be?" "Oh, I'm not gonna be long." Right? So it took about an hour before I left, and she hasn't come back since yet. But what I'm going to, I have bought some fish cake over here, so I'm not going to give it to the kids. I'm going to put them in a bag, and I'm going to store them. And again, if I could find a lab where I can get, a test done to see if there's any sort of, bacterial or whatever in there, whether it be something that's related to like mouse feces or mouse dropping, and they can tell me, right? Because like I said, what I've done now with my moringa is that I keep it in my bag, right? I put it, I bought new moringa tea, and I put it in my bag, and I've been drinking it, and it's been fine. Okay, it's been fine. So what I do is that, I brew the water, and what I do, I make sure that I empty out the water when I get home. Empty out the water in the kettle, and fill it up back up with fresh water, and then I make my tea. Okay, and so yeah, since that I've been doing that, I haven't had any headaches, any muscle pains, any stomach ache, anything like that, stomach cramp, nothing like that. And no dryness of the mouth, that sort of thing. And you hear the sirens in the background. So they will always find ways to try to, and they get away with it, right? This is how they kill people slowly. And they get it because then they have people in the lab, particularly when you being attacked by the New York Predator Department, right? They can cover shit up. And this is how a lot of people die, and they cover it up. So what they've done is that they've created people within the society who kill, who murder other people, doing it in ways that are slowly being done, right? Putting poison in their foods a little bit at a time, whether it be rat droppings or whatever it is that they use, right? And then these people die with no, they chalk it up as being natural death or maybe something within their health or have you, but it was exacerbated or caused by them being poisoned. This is the mindset they've created within the society. Okay? So when I talk about the criminal element in positions of high places, particularly within the churches, particularly within the black churches are some of the most stupidest people, and I say this with uh, all purpose, because they are. That they don't want to know the truth, right? They don't want to know the truth, particularly these pastors, and particularly because these pastors are using women to enrich themselves off of them, right? So they are vested, and these women will follow these pastors. They'll tell them all kind of shit. Oh, it's the devil's in your house and this and all this stuff, right? Not understanding that by destroying the relationship, it makes it harder on them. And so they rather live a hard life, and then afterwards they go to their pastor like, well, life is much harder now, and the pastor will tell them, you know what, well, this is nothing compared to what Jesus went through. These are the things how they manipulate people, particularly our women, to get them to accept the hardship that they should be blaming these pastors for. They should be blaming these politicians for, right? But they will rather blame you and I, as opposed to holding those in the position that they're in accountable for the chaos, for the destructive mindset that they instill within their followers, right? And like I said, they're all about lies and deception and manipulation. And so anybody come to speak the truth, they will attack them, they will manipulate them, they'll try to set them up, and they will use any means necessary. All right. When you love a God outside of yourself, you will do anything. When you love for that God, when you love yourself, you will do anything for yourself, for your family, for your children. Okay? And the fact that they will use children as part of their coercive persuasion programming, it just shows you how vile, evil, and wicked they are. Okay? So when you see them wearing that cross around their neck, that cross means death. And they will have no issue killing you and I for speaking the truth. All right? Talk to you guys in the next video.